Good evening, citizens of North Little Rock and anybody who is sick of taxes across America. This is the part of the campaign against the North Little Rock sales tax. The city of North Little Rock is trying to do a 1% sales tax increase scheduled for August 8th of 2017. A special election for a multi-million-dollar tax increase is scheduled to minimize voter turnout. As part of this tax increase, in order to sell this tax increase, the mayor of North Little Rock, Joe Smith, has been doing a presentation where he attempts to scare people from cutting government. He does so by showing an example of cutting this all the departments, including police, fire, and sanitation, at 7.5%, and shows a certain amount of money, and then states that we would have to remove policemen and firemen, I believe 13 police officers and 12 firemen from the departments in order to do that. And so people are scared. The design of it is supposed to scare people into not making any cuts in the government, and thus he can then say, well, we have to do a sales tax. There's also a thing where he shows a $15 sanitation fee and says it doesn't pay for itself, and says it won't subsidize and won't be able to fix the entire sanitation department. What is left out of those, and what I call is Joe Smith's missing numbers, is the other items that the city of North Little Rock is wasting money on. And so this is a Excel file breakdown of some items that we could cut funding to instead of raising taxes, and items that should have been cut when Mayor Smith took office 4 years ago. Some of these items were actually talked about in his election. It's pretty clear that either Tracy Steele or Mark Clinton would have been much better mayors, because I believe they would have cut some of these items and we wouldn't be in the financial situation we're in. I'm going to go through some of these items right now. You can help in defeating the North Little Rock sales tax by visiting our Facebook page, where I'll have this video and others, as well as this very image that shows these budgeted items, and other videos talking where I confronted Mayor Joe Smith about this. I'll try to have this playing at the next town hall, which is this coming Thursday. I'll have some details about that. I'll also have an extended version of this where I'll have all these items put together along with some of the presentations made by Mayor Smith. I don't have the slick projector that he has, so I'm just using my TV and a camcorder. But I'm going to go through some of these items. I'm going to start off from where I left off, which is the Sister City program. This is a city that is in, I believe, South Korea, and I guess what we do is we exchange gifts, and I'm not sure what other items. I think there is like a monument or a tree or something in front of the downtown North Little Rock center where you pay bills. And I'm sure they're really nice people. I mean, South Korea's been a great ally of ours. But this is money that should be used on, again, police, fire, sanitation, street repair. And when you have those kind of dire needs, you start making budget cuts. And of course, this next one right here is probably the most popular item that's talked about regarding wasteful spending. The river rail, that I put here empty trolley, that's not in the budget, but I added that. This is the trolley system. The North Little Rock trolley system was a scam when it was started. It was used federal funds to get it up and running, and it is subsidized by Little Rock, North Little Rock. I'm sure that Pulaski County has some money that it has to waste on it, and I believe the federal government still subsidizes this thing. This is our share, $339,000 for a system that hardly has any people on it, and when it does have people on it, we're in an event like Pops on the River or Riverfest, it's often for free. It does not bring in tourists. There's not one number to show that. Certainly, and even if it did bring in some tourists just for the trolley, there's no way that it would be able to make up this kind of money for his city or the state. No, it's a stupid going green tourist pet project thing that should have never been started in the first place and doesn't need to be subsidized, especially when you have budget issues. I mean, and this is a lot of money. Think how many police officers we could hire with this. Think if or repairs we can make to the police station with this. but you won't see it in any of Joe Smith's presentations. It's not there. And of course, when confronted about this issue, he gives some kind of story about how he hangs out with tourists in the hotel, and they say it looks cool, and maybe it'll bring a convention, and maybe those convention will bring in dollars. No, just in an earlier, when he was running for office, he claimed that it would pay for itself, I think, 4 times what it normally does. And I'll have a link to that video to show that. But that's the trolley system, and it is a system that was a scam when it was started, and it should have been cut out years ago. It needs to be cut now. Keep North Little Rock beautiful. Earlier in the other video, there was a city beautiful thing, and this is another anti-littering thing. $5,000 that we're spending on that we could spend on repairs. I don't know how many potholes that could fix, but you don't. I mean, we already have anti-littering stuff with the state. Of course, if the police catch you littering, they're supposed to arrest you and fine you. And so, no, you don't fund that when, again, you're having your city fall apart. Argenta Downtown Council. Now, this was an organization that was designed to repair the Argenta district. That's a downtown North Little Rock, right near Main Street, near City Hall. And overall, I'd say they've done a pretty good job. There's some new apartments down there. They've cleaned up some places down there. I kind of halfway wish this would be like a Rose City Downtown Council or a Silver City Court East Gate Downtown Council, because they need repairs there. But I don't know why they need $95,000 for this. What exactly are they doing with that? You know, and if it's stuff with safety concerns, maybe. I don't know. I kind of put that as a question. I'm on the side of just getting rid of it altogether. No offense, but a lot of these people and some of these organizations that are involved in this could pay their own way. I don't think. I really would have liked to see why they cost $90,000, and we certainly don't need it for this. Argenta Arts Foundation. There's another arts item. Here it is, Arts and Cultural Education on the previous video, $60,000. But this is I guess arts just for Argenta, another $20,000. No, you don't spend money on that when your police station has a hole in its ceiling. Trans to Park ADA Playground, $50,000 for a playground. We already have parks that have playgrounds. Wait, there's schools that have playgrounds. And I'm sure there's probably private organizations that have their own playgrounds. You don't spend $50,000 on a playground when your police and fire are falling apart. $50,000 at the Argenta Community Theater. More money spent on Argenta. Now we already have the Rep, which is a downtown Little Rock. There's a theater area there. We have the Little Rock Robinson Center, which was a taxpayer-funded, recently enhanced, renovated area there. And of course, the theater itself, I'm sure, has had some renovations, probably from these guys. No offense to theater, but you need to book some acts and find some way to pay for itself, or get some actors and actresses to fit the bill. Johnny Depp was here recently to protest the death penalty. You can get him to fund it. That's fine, but no, you don't need. We don't need to be funding $50,000 to the theater when your police station, your fire stations are falling apart. And I'm sure this was the budget for it last time. And again, this is something that you won't see in Mayor Joe Smith's presentation. $8,000 for Christmas decorations. I know that that's not that much money. Again, that's probably maybe a pothole or two. I honestly don't know. But you see these little items here that kind of add up. And you don't need to be spending money on them when, again, your police and fire station are falling apart. The Levy Spur Trail. Now, there's another item here where they're doing a repair of Levy. I think it's centered to the Argenta Downtown Council. It's like where they're trying to renovate Levy. And there's some parts of Levy that probably need to be renovated. But they certainly do not need another walk trail in Levy. This is, again, bike paths and walk trails that they want to waste money on instead of actually funding the things they're supposed to fund: police, fire, and sanitation. And Broadway bridge flags, you know, come to think of it, I don't remember if this is actually in the appropriations budget. This may be another item, but this is an item in the city of North Little Rock's budget. $30,000 to put flags on the Broadway bridge. Number one, that should be a county thing. Or maybe it is a county thing, and it's another, just like the trolley, where it's more money that our local governments combined waste money on. $30,000 a year that we budgeted for 2017. That's about the average salary for an Arkansas citizen that we're wasting on flags. And when I add those two items on the first video and the second video, and I come up with this, I get $3 million that we could cut. Most of it's from the Central Arkansas Transit, the bus system, and then this big one right here, the trolley system. But I'm going to put a part 3 of this, which is where I go into salaries. And then like Joe Smith, I'm not going to mix police, fire, and sanitation together. I'm going to kind of go through some other items, separate salaries, and show how we can cut that without even touching police, fire, and sanitation. And then I'm going to go through some other items that I haven't even mentioned that have nothing to do with the budget. And I'm going to actually do a much better job of informing the public. Mayor Joe Smith his presentation takes about 20 minutes, so I may go a little further than him. And of course, I don't have a projector, but I'm at least giving you the numbers that should have been given before this tax increase was even proposed. Well, let me cut this and start another video on the salaries. Give me just a moment.